Yeah, here we are at the start of the 2026 Yankee Spring Time Trial. I'm the fifth rider to go off in the sport category. They send a rider off every 10 seconds, so you know what? If I don't get caught by, let's say, 24 racers by the end of this, I'm going to consider that a victory. If you can't tell already from watching, the conditions at this race were like the polar opposite from what we had at Barrier Bay the week before. Then we had, rain, mud, sticky roads. Here we have bone-dry trails and plenty of sand. So I'm riding my new Cannondale Scalpel full suspension bike, and as you can see here, I clearly am having a hard time getting used to a couple things. First, it's a completely different geometry than my old hardtail, and the handlebars are considerably wider, and it's just something I haven't gotten used to yet. Okay, don't get me wrong, I love the new bike. It's awesome, it's a lot smoother than my old hardtail. It's just gonna take some time, that's all. So this is what I consider like the first sustained climb on the course. Comes at about mile 2.5, somewhere in that area. At this point, I think I've been passed by 3 riders. So if you do the math on that, that's going to put about 15 riders going by me by the end. Yeah, so let's just get this over with and get to the top. As you can see by the sign there on the right, we're coming into a section called the Pines. This is kind of a fun section. When I first started mountain biking many years ago, this area used to kind of scare me. It's got a lot of rock drops, root drop stuff that I just wasn't used to, had never seen before. I was new to mountain biking, so this whole area kind of used to freak me out. Now it's like one of my favorite areas. I love bombing through here. Typically, again, remember, I'm on a brand new mountain bike that I've only ridden twice on single track, so with that new geometry and handlebars, man, I was all over the place through here, as you'll see. So this is pretty cool right here. I come around one of these corners, try not to crash and burn, and then I like see somebody sitting there, kind of freaked me out. It turns out Nick Garrison was sitting there taking pictures, so it's kind of cool. I got video of Nick Garrison taking photos of me as I went flying by. I didn't crash, so that's a good thing. Although a crash would have made for a pretty spectacular photo, I guess. Still, I prefer not hitting the ground if that's at all possible. I've done that enough already. I don't need to do it anymore. So now we're about mile 5.5, somewhere in that area, and this is another section that typically I love to bomb down. That when I first started riding, this used to scare me more than the Pines. It's had some bigger drops and some big turns. Big bank turn was always kind of fun. But today, as you'll see, geez, I mean, if you're watching this, I was like a drunk monkey on a unicycle trying to stay on the trail around here. Yeah, here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. I'll just turn off the music and stop talking. You can listen to in slow motion what I actually felt about this particular turn.
That was terrible.
Yeah, there you go. Let's just say missing that tree was serendipitous dumb luck. It had nothing to do with skills. You need another example? Watch this brilliant left-hander. Typically here you want to stay left over to where the actual trail is. I came around the corner a little too fast, forgot the corner was there, ended up way over to the right, bouncing over the tree roots. Yeah, it was terrible. Somehow I got to the top without crashing though.
That was close to being exact.
I don't know, maybe 3.5 miles or so from the finish line here. This is a pretty good section. After you get around these first couple of turns, it then becomes kind of a relatively straight, relatively flat section. The only problem is there's a lot of sand, so, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but between the new geometry and the wider bars on my bike, I was having a hard time holding it steady in the sand, so I took it a little more cautiously through here than I probably typically would. But, you know, I was thinking getting to the finish line without donating a lot of blood to the ground was probably more important than trying to set a PR along here. So here we are about a mile from the finish line. I put this section in here because last year, if you watch last year's video, this is where I caught up to a few slower riders at the end of the line, and there's some rocks coming up here. A couple of them had some issues in the rocks and crashed, and the bikes got tangled, and we're all just kind of standing on the trail. So it was kind of funny, but nobody got hurt. This year, though, I was happy to come into this same section with absolutely nobody anywhere near me. Yeah, so even though I'm all alone, I still managed to screw up a turn right off the trail and take an alternate route to the top. I swear, I'm terrible. So this is it, probably maybe half a mile ago at this point, so I'm figuring, you know, why save anything? I might as well just go as hard as I can. There's no sense leaving anything in the tank. Turns out as hard as I could go wasn't all that hard. It seems that my tank was already pretty much empty. You know what though, I got passed by I think 2 riders somewhere around the halfway point of the race, which was, you know, a while ago, and nobody else got around me after that. So I think that put me somewhere around maybe 5 or 6 riders total that got around me. I'll take that any day. I passed 2, so maybe I was doing better than I thought I was. So this is it. You come around this last corner, it's a straight shot to the finish line. So I make that turn and I open up my sprint against no one. Finished in 57 minutes 16 seconds, which turns out is good enough for 7th place in my age group. Anytime I finish top 10, I'm happy with that.